guys, welcome back to the left pedal. I am Wynter and today I'm going to be reviewing a 2005 GSXR 600. Let's get into it. Okay, so obviously this isn't what we normally review on our channel. This has 2 wheels instead of 4. So that being said, this review is going to be a little bit different. Clearly there's not going to be an interior portion because there is no interior. The only technical interior part is the rear seat under, for this one, the plastic cover in the back seat. Other than that, everything's pretty much exterior features, motor, you name it, and we'll get into all that. So we're going to start with the front of the bike. The front of the bike clearly has one giant headlight. There's some sport bikes have 2 lights that are completely separate. This one just has 1. And then under it and on the sides, you've got 2 grills. That allows airflow from the front. Those grills being right there help the bike have an aggressive look, and that's one thing that I really do like about the bike. The GSXR also made the side fairings look like a race style feel kind of vibe to it, which I also personally like. I love the red compared to the other stock colors that they have, which is like yellow, black, blue, white, red obviously. This bike specifically is a 600cc bike. Wynter, what does cc mean? It means cubic centimeters. So basically, the bigger the number, the bigger the actual motor. This one is 600 cubic centimeters. There is a range from 50cc to 2000cc with motorcycles. 50cc obviously going to be a smaller motor, a 2000cc obviously going to be a way bigger motor. A 600 is almost like a good middle ground, so I think a 600cc is a perfect bike, in my opinion. So 0 to 60 time, it's not really a form of measurement with motorcycles, but it can go 0 to 60 in about 3 to 4 seconds. Note, it does depend on the skill level of the rider and how good they are at shifting. And this isn't meant to be rude, but also your weight, because weight will play a huge part on a motorcycle. Again, only 2 wheels, not 4. So top speed on a GSXR 600 is a little over 160. I personally haven't topped it out because it scares me quite a bit, but it's also whatever you want to do. So max torque on these bikes is around 44 foot-pounds, and your horsepower is going to be around 98. The power band on any inline 4 motorcycle will hit obviously in higher RPMs. So for example, this bike around 5 to 6,000, that's when it really starts to kick in. But that also is because I'm a lighter person and I'm on the bike, so it will vary depending on the person, but for me it kicks in a little bit on like the lower 5,000 side. This bike has a 4.5 gallon tank, which may not seem a lot, but actually on average I get anywhere between 120 130 miles on 1 tank of gas. Ranges from 26 to 28 miles a gallon, which is actually pretty good, but also I haven't gone on a tank of gas where I'm just cruising like normal. I probably could get a little bit of better mileage, but let's face it, once you're on a motorcycle it's kind of hard to just stay at cruising speed the entire time. The transmission on bikes obviously going to be a little bit different. You use your hands a little bit more than you do your feet. So your left hand controls your clutch. It'll engage and disengage the clutch so that way you can shift. Your right hand is going to be your front brake. Your front brake is a lot more sensitive than your rear brake, and that's on any motorcycle. So pro tip, use your rear brake more than your front brake. What controls your rear brake? Your right foot. Not every bike comes with 6 gears. It depends really on what bike you get. So on a lower CC, you'll probably have 4 gears instead of 5. On most basic bikes, you'll have 5 gears instead of 6. And on more higher powered sport bikes, you're gonna have 6 gears. It may not just be sport bikes, but that's all I really know personally is sport bikes currently. So correct me if I'm wrong, roast me in the comments, whatever. Gang. So, these bikes, how they handle, the 600 specifically, I've heard great things about several different 600s. This one, when it comes to cornering, stupid easy. The bike is lightweight. It's a 600, so that way, you know, you can take the corner at a decent speed, unlike a 1000, you can go in way, way, way too quick. And if you go in way too quick, there's not a lot of room for error to adjust what you're doing. The more speed you have, the less likely you are to fall over, because if you're going at a slow speed and you don't have good balance, you will fall over. Like, I will admit, I've dropped my bike before, but it was at 5 miles an hour, not even probably. I was pulling into a driveway, sort of. I was pulling into a business and the curb to get in was a little extra for what I was ready for, and I didn't know how to go in, like, correctly. So I did drop my bike. I fell over. I wasn't hurt. My bike's fine. But basically what I'm just trying to say is the faster you're going, the more upright your bike is going to be and the more level you're going to be. It's just like riding a regular bicycle, except with extra speed. Suspension on the bikes are, I would think, a little bit easier because in the front, you know, obviously you've got your 2 forks. That helps like control, and then you've got your regular suspension for the back. You can change them out depending on what you want to do, but for me personally, I'm not heavily into messing with the suspension on the bike. The only thing that I would really consider doing if you're short is getting a lowering link, which is what is on this bike. And that is the only reason why I can ride, because I am short, so, you know, whatever. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about my shortness. Suspension on a Gixxer stock is actually pretty nice. That's why I'm personally not going to mess with it. At times it can be very cloudy, and at other times it can be very like bumpy. You can feel everything in the road kind of bumpy. Overall though, the suspension holds up pretty nicely. Let's be real here. Driver experience on just about any motorcycle is relatively the same. It's hard to maintain the speed limit. And that's because you don't realize how fast you're actually going, because you're more so paying attention to the people around you and not paying attention to the small gauge cluster that is on a Gixxer. Speaking of gauge cluster, gas gauge, whatever, there's not a gas gauge on any Gixxers at all. Does not come with them. Only thing it comes with is a gas light. When your gas light turns on, you've got about a gallon of gas left, but as I mentioned before, you get like 26, 28 miles a gallon. So you've got time to get to a gas station. One thing that does help though, that way you can kind of tell how much gas you've got left. Obviously you can look inside the tank because it is right there in front of you, or you can basically tell when you lift your bike up after it's been on the kickstand. Riding on a motorcycle is very freeing no matter what kind of bike you're on. I personally really like the Gixxer a lot more compared to any other bike. It's just, it's a ton of fun for me. I love the Gixxer. It might be called like a fixer in the community or whatever, but it has taught me a lot, which is kind of what I wanted. Overall, this is a great bike. I really love the Gixxers. It's been my favorite one out of all of them. Looking at a Ninja, a CBR, whatever, Gixxer was my go-to. It's been a great first starter bike. It's been awesome. 600cc might be a little bit too powerful for someone who's like starting out on their first bike. They might not be very comfortable, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to turn around and sell a bike. So that's why I got a 600, and I'm very glad I did. I've been very happy with my choice. I'm Wynter from the Left Pedal. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.